Hey there, chart friends. Lamont here from Chart Guys, checking on the electric vehicle sector and a couple of those battery names. So Tesla earnings today, initial bearish reaction has us right back into this sideways range that we've been trading in for a long time, though I do believe it was a bit lower earlier when I checked. So long as the bears are defending this level, it's not a big deal. Not well, I guess I shouldn't say it's not a big deal, but the bulls aren't sweating much as long as these levels are holding. So if we check the weekly time frame, we've not had a weekly high or low in quite some time. So would not be surprised by any means if we were to head down and look for that. Drop a trend line in here while I'm there. Right, so you can kind of see it's a bit of a wedge that's formed, right? If you use the channel line as resistance. And here, let me kill some of this. All right, so you can see that we've got a bit of a wedge going on, although there's a lot of space for price to come down, and then really just look for the potential of this channel to be affirmed. Right, so even just to get to the median line is a massive correction back down to the 500 level. Well, I mean, not massive, but like a 40-50% haircut just to get to the median line. Okay, so keep that weekly chart in the back of your mind for context, right? Yeah, this is an initial bearish earnings reaction, but oh no, but in the macro chart, Tesla's still very strong, very healthy. So let's see, on the daily, we are looking for a potential daily high or low with anything over 820, 862 being one. And let's see here, I'm gonna kill this for now. And today's play that was set up like this was really just a back test of these highs, looking for a potential daily high or low. And I believe there was opportunity to take some profit off the table. There was. So the bottom fish on the morning was a really great day trade, and then if you hung around and had some fills here, realize that that trade is different now because over here we were looking for an hourly higher low. So to see this much balance on an hourly higher low attempt, that makes a lot of sense. But if we were then to set a lower high like we did today, this was a lower high today under this. Oh wow, that's so close. It's under this 892.60 level, then it's different. The context is now different. We're not looking for a higher low. Now that we're looking for a lower low, we're still looking for an hourly pivot, but it's an hourly lower low. So that's why you didn't see as much bounce over here, okay? Because everybody who was a short-term trader who bought on this dip, they got liquidated here, or they're red. But why would you let a green trade go red, right? So it's likely that they liquidated on the way down. I mean, who knows? They could be red too. Anyway, so yeah, we're just watching this hourly trend for the most part, but we are being mindful that now we are kind of in this sideways action. Okay, now, if you're in this trade, hopefully you've protected. Okay, but remember, don't just leave these on, right? If price leaves the entry zone by like 3% or 2% or more, it's probably best to reevaluate those two scales and get them a little bit deeper. All right. That being said, obviously this one did work out, for profit taking, whatever, but I would not have loved this. I don't. Although it does look like that would have been a 5-minute oversold bounce. Honestly, that's a really good example of the difference, right, between these two. These two are both likely 5-minute oversold bounces. Right. So yes, 5-minute oversold bounce on the morning, and then a 5-minute oversold bounce today, and you can see how different they are. Right. Of course, today the market was dumping as well over here, whereas the market was bouncing. But the idea is that it's less compelling when you have when it's not the first when the context is different, when you're now looking for a higher low and it's not the first time that level's been tested. All right. Okay. So anyway, are we looking for a daily higher low? We are looking for a daily higher low. We are looking for that daily higher low over 828.62, and ideally we'll get hourly oversold conditions, which they should be now in after hours. Wow. Okay. Look at where we bounced from, right? We went back just to test these lows. So if we find a lot of acceptance down here in this range, then let's see, then we're likely to just hang around in it, right? And now that we've broken above, I wouldn't be surprised if we came up here to the 880s and just kind of chopped about sideways for a bit, but we'll see. The 630 call could definitely change things. So now that we are more likely in our sideways range, that's really all the plays that I would care to make now. So like the short zone would be like up here, and then the long zone would be up here, and obviously we would wait for extension. Right now, I don't really love any of these trades because I just don't know what's going to happen on the 6:30 call. So depending on how we open up tomorrow, will really change how Tesla will be traded in tomorrow's open. At least going forward, not so much. We're just watching this daily range, but for day trades, the open will be very influential. Okay, so either way though, we can always be mindful of where we would look to play, right? If we look to play, if we are down here and the bears are extended or the tempo is 4, maybe we'll look long. If we're up here and the bulls are extended, maybe we'll look short. Okay, not maybe, we will do that. Okay, let's see here. Kill these. Don't need that anymore. Alrighty, so NIO is similar. We're just going sideways now. So again, unable to get back into this this channel structure, this prior channel, and it continues to act as resistance. And now as we peter out sideways, and we leave it, I'm less inclined to do so. So that's why I have these yellow lines here, right? This is the structure that I'm watching right now. Okay, it's still upwards, but it's not quite as impulsive as it was earlier. And if maybe if I get some more affirmations, I'll throw a channel up. But for now, I'm just using these trend lines. So same thing as Tesla, we are range bound. Not much of a sympathy reaction though. If we check into the hourly time frame, potentially there was more action to the downside, and now maybe we've just recovered. Whatever the case may be, the range that we care about the most is pretty much 55.38. The low, let's just use this low, 55.67, and the all-time high of 66.99. Where I would not be surprised if we just bounced around for a bit. Check in the hourly trend. Oh, interesting. Really not much of a reaction on NIO from considering the Tesla reaction. We just saw it. Okay, so the bottom fishing plays of the range worked out today. This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? Whenever we're range bound, just look to bottom fish the range. It's a much safer play. So let's see, what are we looking out for tomorrow? Well, it's really hard to say, honestly. If this bounce sees some follow through, we'll be looking for an hourly lower high under 59.79. But really, if Tesla starts falling apart, then I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this 55 level support. So that could be very different. But if the bulls are able to change the 5-minute trend tomorrow and hold this low of 55.93, then we will be scouting that hourly lower high of under 59.79. And if you can get 5-minute oversold conditions into it, I think that would be a fine place to look short. You can see that there are multiple bottoms got put in here, right? See how contentious this level is, and it was also a prior day's close on this day. So look, scaling in short, expecting at least a little bit of some pull off would not be unreasonable in my opinion. All right, so similar to Tesla, range bound, watching that range. Kia, ain't right. Workhorse. All right. Okay, so Workhorse had the all-time high breakout yesterday. Not a terrible day, considering how the market did. And I will say too that it may have looked bad today, but of course the earnings haven't been great so far, or rather the reactions haven't been so great so far. But really, if you look at ES, we're really just backtesting this this big consolidation structure here, and we pulled off quite a bit from it, but there's a lot of overnight action. But my point is, while it may look bad, it's not in the macro chart. It's not really worst thing in the world. Now, it's very likely that we set a lower high now, of course, but that's going off on a tangent. I shouldn't say it's very likely. It's enough range that we could be scouting it, but the bulls historically have been good at going right to higher highs. Who knows? Anyway, Workhorse, considering that big red day that you saw on the market just now, not a bad close, right? Not a bad showing. New all-time high, highest close ever. Hourly trend it's still bullish. I would not consider this a trend change, even with extended hours on. And so, technically you do have this little lower high compared to this high, and then a lower low under this low. But I don't know. It just it's not much of a pivot. Like it's not even one candle. Like this is a higher low, right? That's a higher high, but I wouldn't really consider that you know, a higher low, higher high break in regards to price action, right? Sometimes it's not as rigid as that, right? You want to have a little bit of a, I guess, interpretive wiggle room, so to speak. To me, this is just one big leg. Anyway, and this is so far still one leg, so I would still be scouting for an hourly higher low. With anything. Oh, that's right, I forgot. So let's check this out first. Oh man, I messed it up. Let's check out that thingy that we drew yesterday. All right, so you see what I was saying was, you know, it played out pretty well, right? That these levels, they'll likely get tested and they likely will be reactive at each one. Like we were expecting something like this, right? So instead of that, right, we got a nice reaction, and then from there came back down, tested it again, didn't quite come back down. Right, came here, got a nice reaction again, right? I know it's just rough, right? Came down, test that level, and then of course it held. So like I said, if you can play each one of these little ladder oversold bounces down, and then chop and stop and hope to hold one piece for a runner. Now I'm curious what it looks like on the. I'm just gonna kill this now. We don't need it. Right, so really all we did was come down to front run it, those levels in regular trading hours, I mean. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I would still consider the hourly trend bullish. In order for me to feel like the hourly trend has gone bearish, I would say the bulls need to start some bounce and then set a lower high under 40, 45, and then break to lower lows whenever that bounce gets going. But right now, I'm just watching this support 31. But really, I feel like it was like back here was the beginning of this move. So as long as the bulls can change the hourly trend above this support, they'll be fine. $31. And if the bears can change the trend, then we'll be looking for that daily higher low with anything over, I believe it was this one, 22.29 being one. All right, XPEV. Okay, so XPEV range bound. We were looking for the potential of making plays off of the base here. It's not. I mean, it's a bear base, not a bull base, right? So it's a roof. It was a roof, and now it's being tested as support. And we're mindful of this trend line here. That's weird. Not sure why I had it drawn like that. Oh, I suppose because this broke. No, I should have had it drawn like that anyway, regardless. All right, anyway, so we have broken this trend line. I'm just going to kill it for now. We have broken this trend line, and we are just closed right in the middle of this, like the DMZ, right? Like the no man's land or whatnot. So as long as we hold above, I would say if the bulls can take back 46, can take back the hourly trend before losing 46.66, I would just really consider that a daily higher low. Like this is very choppy. I would consider this whole thing one move up, and this was never a confirmed daily trend change to me. Okay, so I mean trend continuation, just one leg. So yeah, we're looking for the potential of deeper. We know there's confluence here. There's this potential trend line. There is that low, and so if we can get hourly oversold into these levels here, I don't hate it. I guess I'm using a different template. So we're in there right now, you know. So if this is a situation where if I did get the fill, I probably wouldn't mind swinging it because it's just one, right? And so you still have 2/3 of your risk capital if you were allocating for 3 more. So I still like this trade. It's still very much in play in my opinion. And if we were to just go straight down from here, then the hourly would just get more extended. I'd be fine, not maybe necessarily happy, but fine with those fills down there. And if the market can see some bounce tomorrow, that would be great. I'm sure that would help the EV sector, which honestly, it didn't so bad. Workhorse, yeah. Alrighty, so Plug had a nice. Plug had a nice bounce, I should say, today. Let's see. So very similar, right? It's pretty much sideways. We're just gonna be mindful of this range as well. I'm gonna kill some of this stuff here. We are currently scouting a daily higher low with anything over 58.73 being one. Oh, we had a big gap down. All right, so we were looking for that hourly higher low here. So I thought I had a long box here, but obviously the gap down ruined that setup. Although I wonder what it looked like in after hours. So you did get a little relief move, but not much. But you can see how it acted as resistance immediately after, which is always nice to see, right? It's like a failed pop, right? If you see a failure to get above a range, very often the lower end of that range will get tested again, right? Because the price is pretty much in equilibrium, right? So now that we're range bound, I really only like trades down here, right? So maybe the back test of this structure here off of these lows over here potentially. So maybe you'll start off scaling like a bit above, and yeah, back test of the channel, this prior trend line here, and just knowing that we are likely going sideways, range bound. Okay. Yeah. Oh, look at that. ZAIR into the zone of interest. Nice little move. Oh man, so much going on today. Almost. I should have set some limits in. Anyway, in the zone of interest, came down to test the channel, exactly what we're looking out for. Potential is set this daily higher low here over 465 at 610, 61 cents. If the bulls can change this hourly trend, they'll want to see some more bounce follow through first, right? So ideally, the bulls will break to higher highs and then start this hourly bounce going, because it has yet to really begin. So if they can break the 66 level, then we'll be looking for an hourly lower high under 79 cents, and ideally they'll make enough space so that the bulls can anticipate a higher low. Maybe I'll look for a continuation play. A little higher low entry if the hourly can see some bounce. Okay. Now let's see. And if we are looking deeper, if we see deeper, just make sure you're adjusting your levels. All right. Make sure that your next scale is when the hourly would get oversold again. So wherever we open up tomorrow, make sure this second fill. I use this white box, right? As a first, the top of the box is my first fill, the middle is the second, and obviously the bottom is the third. Just make sure that your second fill is in hourly oversold conditions again, because really what you're doing is you're looking for every single hourly oversold bounce, anticipating one of them can lead to a hourly trend change to set a daily higher low and potentially a swing trade. Okay. So that about covers it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all soon.